The unlawful occupancy entry appeared before anyone at Glen Haven Police Department opened the county parcel owner field. Leonard Price did not know that yet. He was standing on the front lawn of number 28 Hawthorne Crest, one hand resting on the mower handle, the other holding the smart home remote clipped beside his keys. He was waiting for the sprinkler cycle to finish before cutting the final strip of grass near the porch. The owner credential was valid. The front door access was active. The utility account matched his name. The county parcel record listed Leonard Price. For several quiet seconds, that should have been the whole record. Leonard had started the mower at 7:30 that Saturday morning, wearing an old green shirt, faded work pants, and boots darkened by wet grass. Across the street, a white homeowner opened his garage in paint-stained clothes. A passing patrol officer lifted one hand in greeting. 2 houses down, a landscaping crew worked beside a truck displaying an association permit. A delivery driver left a package on the wrong porch. The homeowner redirected him without calling anyone. Leonard had no contractor sticker. He owned the property. Carolyn Ames watched him through her kitchen window. She had moved into the neighborhood less than a month earlier. She had seen Leonard retrieve mail, carry trash bins to the curb, and open the same garage on several mornings. She had never asked his name. That morning, she saw the worn clothes, the tools, and the gray pickup parked near the driveway. She called the police. "There is a man at the large house beside mine," she said. "He may be a contractor, but he is trying to get inside." The dispatcher asked whether she had seen forced entry. Carolyn looked toward Leonard as he pressed the garage remote. The door rose smoothly. "No," she said, "but something does not look right." Sergeant Dean Rourke arrived with Officer Paul Kendricks and probationary officer Maya Bennett. Leonard shut off the mower before they crossed the sidewalk. The engine faded. He set the remote beside his keys and kept both hands visible. Rourke stopped near the driveway. "Do you work here?" "I live here." Rourke looked at Leonard's shirt, then at the house. "This residence belongs to you?" "Yes." Kendricks asked why Leonard was doing the landscaping himself. Leonard glanced at the mower. "Because it is my lawn." He reached slowly for his wallet after announcing the movement. His driver's license showed the Hawthorne Crest address. He opened the home application on his phone. Owner credential active. Front entry recognized. Garage access confirmed. Maya looked toward the patrol terminal. A collapsed county record field displayed the surname Price. "We can open the parcel detail," she said. Rourke barely turned his head. "We have a reported break-in. We verify the scene first." Leonard opened a digital property tax statement. Rourke said electronic files could be altered. Leonard showed his homeowner's insurance card. Kendricks asked whether anyone inside could confirm his identity. "I live alone." "Then let us check inside." Leonard's expression tightened. "You do not have my consent to enter." Rourke entered something into the field contact screen. "Occupant evasive regarding interior verification." Leonard saw the words, "My refusal to let you search my home does not change who owns it." Rourke looked toward Carolyn's porch. She stood with her arms folded, watching. "The caller believes you do not belong at this property. The county record does not depend on what she believes." Maya opened the parcel field. Owner, Leonard Price. Mailing address, number 28 Hawthorne Crest. She turned the screen slightly toward Rourke. The name matches. Rourke did not read the full entry. Keys can be taken, phones can be taken, documents can be copied. Each answer Leonard gave produced another reason not to accept it. Rourke nodded toward Kendricks. "Detain him while we clear the residence." Leonard did not move. Kendricks pulled his hands behind him and closed the cuffs. The sound carried across the lawn. Several neighbors stepped onto their porches. Leonard sat on the top step of his own home. Maya looked again at the terminal. No burglary report. No damaged lock. No missing property complaint. Owner credential present. She said nothing more. Rourke authorized a protective ownership check. Kendricks crossed the threshold. Leonard spoke clearly from the porch. "I do not consent to entry." Inside the house, the smart lock system registered the door event. Owner denial recorded. Unrecognized entry detected. Owner credential nearby. An automated alert went to the home insurer and the county property fraud portal. Leonard's phone began ringing on the hood of the patrol car. The screen showed a secure military scheduling number. Kendrick silenced it. Leonard could not see the notification that followed. Unrecognized entry, recorded. Owner credential present. The insurer's liability file opened before Sergeant Dean Rourke finished his report. Leonard did not see that either. He remained seated on the porch while Paul Kendricks moved through the front vestibule and looked into the living room without a warrant, consent, or documented emergency. Nothing inside suggested a burglary. No broken glass, no damaged frame, no second person, no property out of place. The smart home system recorded every door event. Front door opened. Owner denial already logged. Unknown user entered. Owner credential remained outside. Maya Bennett watched the same information appear on the patrol terminal. She also saw the county parcel field. Leonard Price, owner of record. Same address as the driver's license. Same name attached to the utility account. She had enough information to object again. She did not. Rourke controlled her probation evaluation. One negative review could move her from patrol training to administrative duty for months. So she opened a camera on the terminal and quietly photographed the screen instead. Rourke began writing. Possible, unlawful occupancy. Subject unable to provide independently verified ownership. Subject refused interior confirmation. Temporary detention required for scene safety. Leonard looked toward the open front door. You found no one inside. Rourke kept typing. We are still determining that. You already have the owner record. You have a name match. It is my name. Rourke changed the wording. Ownership claim not independently established at scene. The distinction existed only because he needed it to. Leonard's phone rang again on the patrol hood. This time Maya saw the caller label, Secure Readiness Office. She looked at Leonard. Are you expecting a military call? Yes. Rourke looked up. What rank are you claiming? Leonard's expression hardened. I did not make a rank claim. Kendricks returned from the house. Clear. No one removed the cuffs. Rourke asked Leonard to explain the call. Leonard said he was scheduled to advise a readiness session that morning. Rourke added another line. Military affiliation unverified. Leonard had still not used a rank. The report now contained one anyway. Chief Elaine Porter learned about the incident through the Municipal Risk Office. The insurer had forwarded the smart home alert because the police entry occurred after an owner denial. The file included a valid owner token, no break-in sensor, no forced entry event, the exact time of the threshold crossing, body camera geofence data, the county parcel record. Porter called Rourke. He described the matter as a confused occupancy dispute. She asked whether the parcel owner matched the detained man. Rourke said the ownership source had not been fully confirmed. Maya looked at the open field showing that it had. After Leonard was finally released, he did not call reporters. He did not ask Lieutenant General Samuel Keene to come to Hawthorne Crest. Keene had been waiting for Leonard in a secure advisory session and learned about the detention when staff contacted local dispatch. He offered to send military counsel. Leonard declined. I had ordinary proof, he said. Use that. Keene submitted a written statement confirming the missed call, Leonard's retired service, and his advisory role. The statement entered the file after the property records, not before them. Carolyn Ames gave a second interview that afternoon. She said Leonard had appeared unfamiliar. She said she believed the house might have hired temporary help. She said she had never seen him enter before. Grace Holloway, counsel for the Civilian Review Board, requested Carolyn's doorbell archive. The footage showed Leonard retrieving mail, opening the garage, rolling trash bins to the curb, shoveling snow, entering through the front door with the same smart home credential. Carolyn had seen him before. She had not understood him as the owner. Rourke amended his report again. Smart credential, possibly compromised. Residents entered to locate another lawful occupant. Subject made unverified military statements. Maya read the revision from her patrol terminal. Then she opened the protected reporting channel reserved for probationary officers. She uploaded the screenshot she had taken. Her supplemental statement said, County owner field matched before detention. No exigency observed. No forced entry reported. Owner denied consent before threshold crossing. She also wrote that she had failed to repeat her objection after Rourke dismissed it. The Civilian Review Office pulled prior calls coded as occupancy disputes. The pattern was not subtle. Black homeowners were detained longer. They were asked more often for another resident to confirm ownership. Their refusals of consent were more often coded as evasive. White homeowners were usually cleared through parcel records alone. The municipal insurer issued a reservation of rights notice. Coverage could be denied if officers had intentionally altered ownership information or entered after documented refusal without legal justification. Rourke read the notice twice. For the first time, the consequences were attached to his own name. The evidentiary hearing was scheduled for the following week. Grace assembled the record in order. The original call, the parcel field, the smart lock token, the consent denial audio, the unauthorized entry alert, Carolyn's archived footage, Maya's screenshot, Rourke's amended report. 7 sources told the same story. Only the police narrative required Leonard not to own the house. The civilian accountability hearing began with Carolyn Ames's original call. Posible contractor, possible trespasser. No forced entry observed. No damaged lock. No missing property reported. Grace Holloway asked the board to keep those limits visible while the remaining records were read. Leonard Price's driver's license matched number 28 Hawthorne Crest. The smart home application identified him as the owner. The utility account carried the same name. The county parcel field listed Leonard Price before officers placed him in handcuffs. Maya Bennett had suggested opening that field. Sergeant Dean Rourke had declined. Leonard then refused consent to enter the house. Rourke marked the refusal as occupancy evasiveness. Paul Kendricks crossed the threshold. The smart home system recorded an unrecognized entry, while the verified owner credential remained outside. Only after the entry did Rourke add that Leonard had made an unverified military claim. The body camera audio showed that Leonard had never mentioned a rank. The city attorney described the encounter as a difficult residential ownership dispute. Grace looked toward the parcel record on the screen. What fact remained disputed after the county owner record, utility account, driver's license, and verified access token matched? The attorney asked for time to answer. The board moved to Carolyn's testimony. She admitted that she had seen Leonard retrieve mail and open the garage on previous mornings. She had also seen him shovel the front walk during winter. Her doorbell archive confirmed each event. Carolyn said she had assumed he worked for the property. Grace asked what observations supported that conclusion. Carolyn looked down. There was no observation beyond his clothing, his tools, and the fact that he was a black man standing in front of a large house. Her apology entered the record. It did not replace the call. Maya testified next. She explained that Rourke controlled her probation evaluation. She had feared that challenging him twice would end her patrol assignment. She also admitted that Leonard remained cuffed while she chose silence. The board recorded her delayed intervention as a professional failure. Her screenshot and supplemental report were considered mitigating evidence. They did not erase the delay. Lieutenant General Samuel Keene's written statement was read last. It confirmed Leonard's retired rank, his advisory role, and the secure call he missed while sitting handcuffed on his own porch. Grace stated that the board's finding did not depend on military service. Leonard did not own the house because he had once commanded soldiers. He owned it because the county record said he did. Before announcing its findings, the board placed Rourke's original report beside the verified property record. The report said ownership could not be independently established. The property record had already established it. The report said Leonard made an unverified military claim. The audio showed that Rourke introduced the subject. The report said officers entered to locate another possible resident. No caller, alarm, witness, or record indicated that another resident existed. Each statement was read aloud with the timestamp of the source that disproved it. Rourke remained seated while the version he created was separated from the facts he had available. The board found that Dean Rourke had ordered an unlawful detention, authorized an entry without consent or exigency, and altered the incident narrative after verified ownership became available. He was terminated for cause. The state certification board revoked his law enforcement certification after a separate hearing. He was permanently barred from supervisory patrol, residential enforcement, private security command, and any position involving detention authority. The municipal insurer denied coverage for the portion of his defense connected to intentional report alteration. A civil judgment made legally available retirement funds and personal assets subject to collection. Every occupancy dispute detention approved under his command during the previous 4 years was referred for outside review. Paul Kendricks received a sustained unlawful entry finding. He was suspended and removed from patrol. At his certification hearing, he argued that he had followed a supervisor's order. The panel reviewed the audio of Leonard denying consent and the screen showing no exigency code. Kendricks lost his certification for residential enforcement and detention work. He was also barred from field training, school security, and evidence custody positions. The board noted that Rourke had issued the order. It also noted that an order did not create legal authority to cross a private threshold. Maya's probation was extended. She received protection from retaliation for using the reporting channel. She was required to complete intervention certification before returning to residential calls. The final report recorded both her failure to intervene and her later preservation of the ownership screen. Neither finding canceled the other. Carolyn was removed from the Neighborhood Association's Safety Committee. A civil claim based on negligent false reporting proceeded separately. Her corrected statement was permanently attached to the original call, so the first version could never stand alone. The association also removed her access to neighborhood incident alerts. She could no longer classify a person or vehicle as suspicious on behalf of the community. Chief Elaine Porter lost unilateral authority to close complaints arising from residential ownership disputes. An outside monitor assumed review of those cases. The department's initial proposal for additional bias training was rejected as insufficient. Glenhaven adopted the residential ownership verification standard. Caller statements and verified property data now appeared in separate fields. County parcel lookup became mandatory before detention in nonviolent ownership disputes. A verified smart home owner token, utility account, and matching identification counted as corroboration. Refusal to consent to entry could not be labeled evasive. Entry after denied consent required a documented emergency and independent approval. Any detention at a claimed residence automatically preserved body camera, parcel, caller, and smart home records. Probationary officers received a protected live escalation channel. Quarterly reports compared detention length and proof demands by race. Leonard received a civil settlement covering unlawful detention, privacy invasion, legal expenses, and security system remediation. The agreement contained no confidentiality clause. 14 older occupancy cases were reopened. Not every case produced discipline. In 6, property records had confirmed ownership before detention. Those incident findings were corrected. 2 homeowners received compensation for unlawful entry and lost work. 1 family recovered legal fees from a housing proceeding that had relied on a false police occupancy report. Every affected person received the original CAD history showing when verified ownership had been available. Weeks later, Leonard returned to the front lawn. The mower stopped near the porch where he had been cuffed. He checked the home application. Owner access verified. Door secure. No police flag. Across the street, Carolyn noticed a contractor entering another property. Before reaching for her phone, she opened the neighborhood directory and checked the address. Leonard closed the garage, waited for the home application to mark the door secure, and pushed the mower toward the strip of grass he had not finished that morning. This is a fictional story,